Let's learn more about the common birds at your bird feeder. This video counts down the 10 most common feeder birds in the state. For each species, we discuss range, habitat, behavior, identification, and the foods they eat at your bird feeder. Let's get right to it. Curve-billed thrashers. Curve-billed thrashers are common backyard birds in the Southwest. These birds are year-round residents from Texas to Arizona and south into Mexico. They are found in thorn scrub and cholla cactus deserts. They may even be more abundant in residential desert towns. Pairs mate for life. You may see them defending their territories year-round, fighting and chasing. They forage on the ground using their long bills to thrash from side to side. These are fairly large birds, larger than American robins, shorter than mourning doves. They are rather long-bodied, but with a full chest. The head is large, the tail is long, full, and floppy. The bill is long, slender, and curved. The genders are similar in plumage. Birds in the Arizona part of the range are rather dark brown overall. Birds in the Texas part of the range have paler and lightly spotted underparts. They have pale orange eyes. They visit feeders and are fond of millet seed blocks, often just placed on the ground. Black-chinned hummingbird. Male black-chinned hummingbirds don't have the colorful flashy throat present in most hummingbird species. These are summer residents in the Mountain West and Great Basin. They occur from eastern Washington and Idaho northward from California to Texas. They especially like oak trees on foothill slopes. In arid regions, they are found in sycamores and other streamside vegetation. They spend much time feeding on flower nectar, flitting from flower to flower, pumping their tail up and down vigorously. You may also spot males sitting on a high exposed perch to survey their territory. These hummingbirds frequently feed on swarms of flying insects. These are small hummingbirds, the same size as rufous hummingbirds, slightly smaller than broad-tailed hummingbirds, which share their range. They appear plump with round heads. Males have pointed individual tail feathers, females rounded. Bills are long, thin, and tubular with a slight droop. The bills appear slightly longer than many other hummingbird species in North America. Males are green above. Below the sides are also green, with a white upper chest. The chin and upper throat is black, the lower border reflecting deep purple in good light. Females and immatures are green above and gray below. The crown is grayish-green. You can attract these birds to your hummingbird feeder or tubular flowers. Ladder-backed woodpecker. Ladder-backed woodpeckers are zebra-backed birds of the desert. These are year-round residents in the southwestern United States and through Mexico. They are found in cactus and thorn scrub deserts and adjacent juniper. They may be found in towns in native vegetation. They often feed on small-diameter desert vegetation in addition to cacti and mesquite, palo verde, and related thorny trees. Look for them on ocotillo and agave stalks. These are small woodpeckers, just a little larger than downy woodpeckers. They are much larger than house sparrows and much smaller than European starlings. They have stocky bodies, large blocky heads, and short, stiff, wedge-shaped tails. The bill is fairly short, but chisel-shaped, as in all woodpeckers. The back is barred black and white with many thin bars. The pattern is mimicked on the wings, which are black with many rows of white spots. The underparts are white with dense black bars and spots. The face is white with a black border around the ear coverts. The crown is red on the males and black on the female. Ladder-backed woodpeckers may come to your feeder infrequently for black oil sunflower seeds, peanuts, and suet. Red-winged blackbird. Red-winged blackbirds are common birds across North America. In summer, they are found from Alaska across Canada, south into Mexico. In winter, they abandon much of Canada and the northern Great Plains and Midwest. They nest in marshes in summer where there are cattails and similar plants. In winter, they spread out into fields, cattle lots, and residential neighborhoods. These birds are colonial nesters in cattail marshes. In fall and winter, they form very large flocks composed of many young of the year, starlings, grackles, cowbirds, and other blackbirds. Such flocks can number into the hundreds of thousands, especially in the east. These birds are about the size of American robins, perhaps a bit smaller. They are stocky with a fairly long tail. They have rather flat foreheads that accentuate the long bill. The bill is fairly stout at the base, long, pointed, and straight on the upper and lower edges. Males are glossy black with yellow-edged red shoulders that can be hidden in the scapular feathers when the wings are at rest. Females are a bit smaller than males. They are pale with heavy brown streaks on the underparts. Some populations show buff on the face. They may confuse beginners into thinking they are some kind of a streaky sparrow. The flat crown and very straight and sharply pointed bill point to their identification as blackbirds. At your feeder, they will eat black oil sunflower seeds and suet. European starling. European starlings are often mistaken for blackbirds, but they are in different bird family, don't share a lot of similarities other than their general black coloration. These birds are year-round residents from southeast Alaska, across southern Canada, and all of the lower 48 states into northern Mexico. In addition, birds move northward into northern Canada in summer. They are found in urban, suburban, fields, and orchards. In autumn and winter they gather into huge flocks, often with other blackbirds. These birds have the body size of an American robin, but a much shorter tail. They are about 8.5 inches long from the tip of the bill to the tip of the tail. They have plump bodies, rather large heads, and short tails. Wings are short and pointed in flight, almost triangular. Their bills are long and pointed. Dark brown birds that are worn in late summer get fresh new feathers in fall. Then their iridescent black feathers are tipped with white chevrons. These gradually wear off during the winter and spring. By summer they are mostly black, without many spangles. Breeding birds have yellow bills. The bills are brown in the non-breeding season. Both genders are colored the same. Because of their aggressive nature, most people do not like starlings at their bird feeder. Starlings have weak feet, so have trouble eating from tube feeders and special upside-down suet feeders. House finch. House finches used to be only found in the west, but are now common at feeders coast to coast. These are year-round residents across the United States and Mexico. As their name suggests, they are common in residential yards across the United States. They are also found in canyonlands in the west. They are rare or absent in extensive grasslands or high mountains. These birds are found in flocks throughout the year. They give lively, warbled song and chirps. They may feed on the ground, but when frightened, they fly up into the higher parts of a tree to keep an eye on the intruder. Similar-looking sparrows will dive into the nearest low cover and hide. House finches are smaller birds, a bit smaller than the widespread house sparrows. They often appear long and slim, with a rounded head and medium-long tail that has a shallow notch. The bill is short and thick at the base. The upper ridge of the bill is curved. Males are streaky gray-brown on the upper parts. The sides and flanks are streaked broadly with brown lines. These red-headed finches have red or red-orange concentrated on their foreheads and eyebrow stripe, upper chest, and rump. Females are rather streaky, as the males, without any red color. Their head is evenly marked with short streaks throughout, not showing any pattern. House finches love black oil sunflower seeds from tube feeders. Eurasian Collared-Dove. Eurasian collared doves are rather new birds to North America, arriving in 1983, but they have colonized the continent and continue to expand in range and numbers. These birds are year-round residents across the United States, though they remain rare in the Northeast and upper Midwest. They barely reach southern Canada in the Great Plains and west. They are continuing to move south through Mexico. They are found in residential areas and farmlands. Look for them perched on electric wires and acting as mourning doves and domestic pigeons. They are the same size as domestic pigeons, a bit larger than mourning doves. They have the classic full breast of pigeons and small round heads. The tail is fairly long and square. The bill is small and bluntly pointed. The plumage is usually a warm cream color with darker wingtips, but some birds are quite pale. They have a diagnostic black mark on the back of the neck. Perched above you on a wire, the underside of the tail appears black at the base. In flight, look for the broad white tail tip. Both genders appear similar. These birds will eat millet and sunflower seeds from a platform feeder or from the ground. White-winged dove. White-winged doves are large common desert doves. These birds are summer residents in the deserts from Southern California to Texas. They are year-round residents in southern Florida, the Gulf Coast of Texas, the Big Bend area, and southeastern Arizona, south through Mexico. They are found in desert scrub and thorn trees. Their migration is timed with the fruiting of the saguaro cactus in the Sonoran Desert, which they eat. They are common in desert cities and towns, often near water. In the fall, individual white-winged doves may wander far to the north to surprise bird watchers at backyard bird feeders or hanging out on power lines. They are regular on the entire California coast, but have been found as far north as Alaska, Maine, Minnesota, and just about everywhere in North America. These are larger birds. They are plump, with small heads on thin necks and square-ended tails. The bills are thin and fairly long compared to other pigeons. These birds are rather pale gray-brown overall. They have a black mark on the side of the cheek. At close range, they show blue facial skin around an orange eye. Perched, they show a long sliver of white on the edge of the wing. When they take flight, the white wing crescents are very obvious against the dark flight feathers and brown wing coverts. Also obvious are the broad white tips on the dark tail. Genders are identical. White-winged doves eat all kinds of seeds, corn, and nuts at your feeder. They will also appreciate water to drink. House sparrow. House sparrows were first introduced into the United States in 1851 and quickly became common coast to coast. These birds are year-round residents from Canada south through Mexico. They were originally birds of Europe and Asia, but have colonized basically every human-occupied city in the world. Towns and cities are the primary habitats of these birds. Wherever there are permanent human settlements, these birds are there. They choose to nest in houses, buildings, and other human-made structures, but also in nest boxes provided for other birds. They also thrive in farms and ranches, especially stables and grain storehouses. These are social birds, often found in large flocks. They tend to squabble and have a complex hierarchy. Males are dominant in fall and winter, but females dominate in spring and summer. They also tend to be aggressive toward other birds at the feeder. These sparrows are not related to New World sparrows, thus they are differently shaped. They have a short body, full breast, large head, and short tail. The bill is triangular, short and pointed, but thick at the base. The bill of female and fall males is dull yellowish, the bill of spring males is black. In fresh fall plumage, males are dingy brown above, with dark stripes on the back, dusty brown on wing and tail, with a gray rump. They have one large white upper wing bar. They have a bit of black on the chin. As their pale feather tips wear off during winter and spring, the black bib on the male reveals itself. The crown becomes grayer, the face whiter, and chestnut patches on the nape and shoulder become more obvious. Females remain in dull plumage all year. The underparts are dingy gray. Upper parts dull brown with dark lines on the back. They also show a small white upper wing bar. The face shows a brown crown and stripe behind the eye, offset by a wide, buffy eyebrow. At the feeder, house sparrows eat a wide variety of seeds, but they like cracked corn and red milo that many native sparrows and finches do not like. They also have rather weak feet. So, to reduce the number of house sparrows at your feeder, switch to black oil sunflower seeds in a tube feeder. Mourning Dove. The mournful summer song of mourning doves is familiar to most, even if they don't know what bird makes the sound. They are found across the United States as year-round residents. Birds summer in the northern Great Plains and south-central Canada, but withdraw in the winter. These birds are found in towns and farms, and open country with scattered trees, often along rivers. In spring, they sing from power lines in residential areas. They may puff out their chests while cooing from the peak of your roof. These birds are much larger than European starlings, but also much smaller than American crows. These birds have large, powerful breasts, a tiny round head on thin neck, and long pointed tail. Their wings are somewhat pointed in flight. The bill is small, as typical for all pigeons. Genders are identical. These birds are warm tan or brown colored. The breast has a pinkish hue. The wings are gray. They have a few large black spots on the wing covert. They have a black spot on the side of the neck below the cheek that sometimes shows some iridescent green. The tail has white edges, best seen in flight. At your bird feeder, mourning doves eat all types of seeds. They are also attracted to water for drinking and bathing. There you have it, the 10 most common feeder birds in the state. My channel page has playlists covering bird watching, bird identification, and interesting nature facts. Details are in the description below. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and enjoy your feeder birds.